Ali Maxwell and George Ellick for DragonSports.co.uk. Swansea City on the mind, and specifically, who will be their next manager? Who will take Swans into the Championship campaign in 25-26? Could it be Alan Sheehan, George, the current interim, who it's been reported is still very much in the frame, albeit the new sporting director, Rich Montague, is considering many options right now?
Yeah, exactly that. And this is Alan Sheehan's second caretaker spell in charge, having also done the job when Mike Duff was sacked, the manager that he came in alongside. Interestingly, in both spells, he's managed 7 games, and in both spells, he's picked up 11 points. So they're exactly mirroring each other as to this stage. That's 1.57 points per game, which over the 40 games that all teams in the Championship have currently played would have them on 63 points and currently in 5th. So from a pure points per game perspective, especially given that he was taking over from 2 managers who lost their job on the back of results, it's a really impressive haul. Now, this time around, the home form has by far and away been the most impressive. They've won 3 of their 4 home games that he's taken charge of. They've won 3 of those to 0, not conceding a goal in any of them, and the only defeat came against the side who are currently top of the table in Burnley, which I think we can forgive him. On the road, on the face of it, it's not as impressive. They haven't won any of their 3 games, but again, that 2-2 draw against Leeds, where not only did they score that late goal to equalise, but they were pretty impressive throughout the game, taking the game to a Leeds side who don't drop many points at all at Ellen Road. And at Preston, where on the face of it, a draw against Preston may not seem that impressive, but Preston haven't lost at home at Deepdale since November the 2nd. So, yeah, the 1-0 defeat at Watford in a pretty tight game isn't ideal, and 3 winners doesn't look great, but when you dig into it, there's some merit within those. So the bare results are pretty good. What about the performances? There are a couple of warning signs. We look at expected goals, as most people do these days, and Sheehan has overseen a +2 goal difference during his second time in charge as caretaker, but the expected goal difference is -1.5, so there's a 3.5 goal swing there that has Swansea effectively overachieving. There's also 63 shots taken in these 7 games, which is the 5th fewest in the league, while the 84 shots they've conceded is the 8th most. So not creating much and conceding quite a few chances. Saturday's game is a good example of this at home to Derby. They only had 3 shots in the whole game. They had 1 on target. They scored that 1 on target. Derby had 12 and won the XG battle but didn't score. And that isn't necessarily a recipe for success, those kind of low margin games where you're not creating much and you're taking your relatively few chances. Also, when it comes to Swansea managers, we have to think of the Swansea way. This is what got Mike Duff in some issue and some trouble early on in his tenure. Swansea fans expect their teams to play a certain way and to be entertained. A possession-based approach is generally what Swansea fans like to see and what they expect. And Sheehan's averaging 445 successful passes per game, which is basically exactly the same as what we saw under Luke Williams. And when you consider that they've lost Matt Grimes in that time, who's basically the Championship's best midfield metronome, I'd almost say it's quite impressive that Sheehan's managed to oversee still a pretty heavy possession style. But it's not just possession for possession's sake that Swansea fans want to see. It's that attacking threat as well. And those XG numbers and the relatively low shot numbers are a bit of a red flag. Low shot volume, low shot quality isn't exactly the recipe for exciting attacking football. So where do I sit on this? I think Montague's doing the right thing. I think there's no rush to appoint Sheehan. I think there should be no rush at all to get rid of him. He's someone who is entitled to learn on the job. He's a young coach and only managing in his second caretaker spell. And I think we'll learn a lot in the next 6 games between now and the end of the season to see if this is a good run that can be sustained, or if maybe they're getting a little bit fortunate and this is the variance after a managerial change where the new man comes in and has a bit of luck that maybe the man before him was struggling to get. So some signs of overachievement, but some promising signs too. I think if Swansea do decide to go with Sheehan, he's shown a lot that they can be excited about, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if there are some interesting candidates that Montague's talking to as well.